Brennan McPherson is Vice President for the Salvation Poem Foundation. Every episode of CBN's animated series Superbook ends with the Salvation Poem, sung by a young vocalist in the viewer's native language. The poem has been translated into more than 50 languages and sung in more than 37 languages. Now he's used his writing talents in his novel, Cain. He tells the story of the first murder in the Bible and the birth of an unstoppable evil.
Well, Brennan McPherson joins us now, and Brennan, this is a departure for you. You've been involved with the Salvation Poem. You've been involved in putting together children's literature, distributing books around the world. Why the departure? Why this?
I've always been a huge fan of storytelling. Just remember watching The Lord of the Rings growing up and thinking, you know what, I want to tell stories. This is just cool. I mean, it's such a powerful way to communicate truth. It really it takes us out of ourselves and helps us to think about things in a new way.
Well, what is it about the Cain and Abel story? I hear that you've been fascinated with this story since you were young.
It really, I think, for me, it was so odd. Because here's the first family, and you'd think they were perfect, right? They were great, so they'd be in unity with each other. But you find this terrible disharmony. Cain does this terrible deed, killing his brother, and fractures the family. So what was that like for them? What was that like for Cain and Abel and Adam and Eve?
Well, in the book, you get into this is the birth of a terrible evil. What do you mean by that?
Well, we see in Adam's decision that his sin, the effects of it, ripples through all of history. And in the same way, I kind of wanted to mirror that in his son's decision and show how Adam's decision rolled off onto Cain's decision. And, there's just kind of this snowballing effect of sin throughout history. And, our sinful nature, it can't be stopped until the last Adam with Jesus.
In your book, how do you deal with the fact that God is still speaking to Cain?
Yeah.
He's just murdered his brother.
Yeah.
And, it's just an incredible conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like he's not mad at him.
No. He sees, I think, the story of Cain and Abel for me is one of the most powerful presentations of God's mercy. Because here Cain kills his brother, lies to God's face, and God still gives him protection. And I think that was because he wanted to win Cain's heart. And for me, that became really powerful because I see myself and all of us really in Cain, in just the human nature, the sin nature as shown through his actions.
Yeah, the whole thing that's crouching by the door,
yeah,
waiting to devour us.
Yeah.
And we get it in our head that somehow God has to be mad.
Yeah, we do.
We judge ourselves. God has to be mad at me for what I've just done.
Yeah.
He can't ever, I can't forgive myself, so there's no way that God will forgive me.
Right.
And we lose sight of, no, he's still there.
Yeah.
He absolutely still wants to talk to us.
Yeah.
He'll still receive us. He'll
Yep.
still forgive us, and he wants that relationship. You've gone extra biblical in this.
Yep.
It's a short story in the Bible. It's a couple of verses, and you've taken it into a whole novel, and you have a redemption story at the end of it.
Yeah.
What is that? How do you bring Cain back?
You mean just how do I show him as being, a figure who may find redemption? Really, I think it was, as I was writing it, I started, of course, like I said, seeing myself in Cain. And the idea of Jesus, the Christ coming, he's prophesied as coming in Genesis, in the garden with Eve and Adam. So I wanted to show how Jesus was present through all of this story. He was planned even before Cain was born, and he was there, and his sacrifice matters for him too.
Can you give viewers a hint as to how you end this and how that, or do you say, no, you got to go back out and get the book?
I'd say that's hard. Maybe just get the book.
All right, we'll leave you with a cliffhanger then. You have a whole series in mind. This is the first.
Yeah.
And where are you going with the series?
For the rest of the series, it's going to go all the way up to Genesis 11 with the Tower of Babel. So the second book I'm working on right now is about the flood.
So you're gonna take us into Noah.
Yep.
And his whole, and then you're going to, I assume you're going to do it on Nimrod.
Yep.
The mighty hunter. Give us a glimpse into that world.
Yep. Well, I haven't quite plotted out the third book yet, but for the second book, I'm getting really excited about it. It's kind of the story of more of a reluctant prophet. You know, Noah kind of going through a lot of struggles and being more of a conflicted person. But then in the end, you know, honoring God with his decisions, kind of how he comes to be there.
You're going to go into his dysfunctional family?
Yes. Yep.
And is that going to be comfort for all of us? Because all of us come, to one degree to another, from some kind of dysfunction. You look at any family, you can spot a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Dysfunction, but then also finding, you know, the points of unity in the families. And for Cain, you know, he didn't really have much of it. But in the end, I wanted to show that there was still love there. It was a complicated dynamic. That's
a surprising twist. I've always wondered what about Noah convinced his family to join him in a boat?
Yeah.
How did he pull that one off?
Yeah.
I have a hard enough time convincing my kids to go on vacation with us. and here he's going to say, no, we're all going to get locked up into this boat
with
on dry
animals.
land.
Yeah.
And with a bunch of animals. And you know, how in the world did he pull that one off? How did he do that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the book, it's called Cain, the story of the first murder and the birth of unstoppable evil. It's available on Amazon, so if you want to order a copy, it's out now. So go ahead and do that, Brennan. Thank you. Thank you for your partnership with the Salvation Poem.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you guys.